सबसे पहले सब्सक्राइब, लाइक एंड प्रेस आइकन।
हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू आवर चैनल एंड दैट इज बिंदास एजुकेटर। जी हाँ बच्चों, जैसा आपने थंबनेल में देखा, आज हम स्टार्ट करने वाले हैं इलास्टिसिटी चैप्टर का पार्ट 2। और ये पहले वाले पार्ट से भी बहुत ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग होने वाला है, बहुत ज़्यादा मज़ा आपको आने वाला है। चलिए, तो मज़े मज़े में हम पढ़ाई करेंगे, मस्त पढ़ाई करेंगे। और देखिए बच्चों, अगर फिजिक्स सब्जेक्ट की अगर मैं पर्टिकुलरली आपको एक टिप दूँ तो सबसे अच्छी टिप फिजिक्स के लिए ये होती है कि फिजिक्स के लिए आपको 3 चीज़ें चाहिए। सबसे पहले अच्छे कंसेप्ट जो भी हम यहाँ प्रोवाइड कराएंगे, सेकेंड सबसे अच्छे नोट्स जो भी हम यहाँ प्रोवाइड करवाएंगे, एंड देन थर्ड इज मैक्सिमम क्वेश्चन प्रैक्टिस, और जो वो भी अवेलेबल है हमारे चैनल पर। आप जा सकते हैं क्वेश्चन बैंक की प्लेलिस्ट में, वहां पे अलग अलग चैप्टर्स के टाइम टू टाइम लेक्चर्स धीरे धीरे अपलोड हो रहे हैं। ठीक है, तो चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं आज का टॉपिक। तो बच्चों, आज हम जो टॉपिक स्टार्ट करने वाले हैं वो टॉपिक है इलास्टिक पोटेंशियल एनर्जी। व्हाट इज इलास्टिक पोटेंशियल एनर्जी? देखिए बच्चों, अगर हम किसी भी चीज को डिफॉर्म करते हैं, कोई भी कहीं पर हम कोई एनर्जी लगाते हैं, तो हम जहां पर भी कोई वर्क डन करते हैं, कोई डिफॉर्मेशन करते हैं, तो वहां पर उसके अगेंस्ट एक पोटेंशियल एनर्जी स्टोर हो जाती है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर मैं आपको स्प्रिंग के बारे में बताऊं, फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ वी हैव अ स्प्रिंग, मान लीजिए ये कोई स्प्रिंग है, ये इसकी नेचुरल लेंथ है। ठीक है, तो मान लीजिए इस स्प्रिंग को मैं एक्सटेंड कर दूं यानी कि डेल्टा एल लेंथ इसकी इंक्रीज कर दूं। तो मान लीजिए अब स्प्रिंग एक्सटेंड होने के बाद द स्प्रिंग इज लुकिंग लाइक दिस। ठीक है, तो इसकी ये दिस मच लेंथ इज इंक्रीज्ड, दिस इज डेल्टा एल, दिस मच लेंथ इज इंक्रीज। तो इसका मतलब अगर मैंने इस स्प्रिंग को स्ट्रेच किया, यानी कि स्प्रिंग को मैंने स्ट्रेच कर दिया, डेल्टा एल लेंथ इसकी इंक्रीज कर दी, तो डेफिनेटली हमने जो वर्क डन किया इसके ऊपर, उसमें कुछ ना कुछ इसकी इंटरनल एनर्जी स्टोर हुई होगी रीस्टोरिंग फोर्स की वजह से। देखिए बच्चों, अगर कोई भी स्प्रिंग आप जैसे हमने लास्ट क्लास में जो हमने पढ़ा था कि कभी भी किसी भी बॉडी पर अगर हम डिफॉर्मिंग फोर्स लगाते हैं, चाहे हम उसको कंप्रेस करें, चाहे हम उसको एक्सपैंड करें, तो हमेशा हमने जो उस बॉडी पे किया उसके अगेंस्ट उस बॉडी के अंदर एक टाइप की इंटरनल एनर्जी स्टोर होती है, एंड दैट इज कॉल्ड एज इलास्टिक पोटेंशियल एनर्जी। और बच्चों, हमने इस जो इलास्टिक पोटेंशियल एनर्जी जो था या फिर फोर्स जो था, टेंशन जो आता है इलास्टिक मटेरियल्स में ड्यू टू इलास्टिसिटी, उसको हमने लास्ट लेक्चर में बोला था इक्विवेलेंट, दैट इट इज इक्विवेलेंट टू स्प्रिंग। तो जैसे फोर्स इक्विवेलेंट टू स्प्रिंग था, सिमिलरली द इंटरनल एनर्जी इज आल्सो विल बी इक्विवेलेंट टू that internal energy will also be equivalent to elastic potential energy of elastic materials, that will be equivalent to elastic potential energy of like you can say the elastic potential energy of the material that will be equal to spring। यानी कि इलास्टिक पोटेंशियल एनर्जी का जो एक्सप्रेशन है वो हम स्टैंडर्ड लेंगे स्प्रिंग के लिए। ठीक है, तो जैसे स्प्रिंग जैसे हमने स्प्रिंग की इंटरनल एनर्जी आपने पढ़ा होगा वर्क पार एनर्जी में, वहां पर स्प्रिंग पढ़ा था, तो स्प्रिंग में वहां पे आपने पढ़ा होगा दैट इंटरनल एनर्जी स्टोर्ड इन अ स्प्रिंग इज हाफ के एक्स स्क्वायर। तो सिमिलर एक्सप्रेशन हम यूज करेंगे इलास्टिक पोटेंशियल एनर्जी के लिए। अब इलास्टिक पोटेंशियल एनर्जी के लिए लास्ट लेक्चर में आपने पढ़ा था के हमने फाइंड किया था फोर्स वाले से, और फोर्स वाले फॉर्मूला से जब हमने के फाइंड किया था तो वहां पर के में हमने फाइंड किया था दैट के वाज कमिंग आउट टू बी वाई ए बाय एल। दिस वाज द एक्सप्रेशन फॉर के, यानी कि कांस्टेंट फॉर इलास्टिक फोर्स। So similarly, in making an expression for internal energy, if we have to use that half kx square in elastic material, so we will use half k will put the value of Young's modulus into area divided by L into x square. X there was our change in length, that means delta L. This was the x, so delta L square. So finally our work done or internal energy both are the same thing, that will be equal to half this ya by L into delta L। इफ ये जो स्क्वायर डेल्टा एल स्क्वायर है, इसमें से अगर मैं एक डेल्टा एल अंदर यूज कर लूंगा, दैट विल बी इक्विवेलेंट टू टेंशन और यू कैन से द फोर्स, सो दैट विल बी इक्वल टू हाफ एफ इनटू डेल्टा एल। नाउ इफ आई मल्टीप्लाई or divide by a into L, I am multiplying by a into L and I am also dividing a into L, so it won't make any difference, but you can see here that force upon area is your stress, and delta L by L, that means change in configuration by original configuration, that is equivalent to strain, and then A into L, area into length, is volume of the wire. So internal energy or work done can also be written as half into stress into strain into volume of the wire. So this is also an expression. So finally, the most important thing which you have to memorize here is you have to keep in your mind that the elastic potential energy is equivalent to एनर्जी स्टोर्ड इन स्प्रिंग. देखिए, अगर आपको इलास्टिक वायर इलास्टिसिटी सोचते ही अगर आपको स्प्रिंग याद आएगा, दैट विल बी वेरी गुड फॉर यू, क्योंकि ये हमने स्प्रिंग के इक्विवेलेंट ही माना है, ये चीज हमने स्प्रिंग के इक्विवेलेंट ही मानी है. ठीक है, चलिए. तो यहां पर जो हाफ के एक्स स्क्वायर था, वहां पर के की वैल्यू आपने पुट की वाई ए बाई एल और एक्स को हमने पुट किया डेल्टा एल. सो आवर एक्सप्रेशन विल बी दिस. Okay, so if we will multiply one delta L inside, so that will become that comes out to be F force. ठीक है, और ये आप फॉर्मूला पीछे भी देख सकते हैं, यानी कि लास्ट वाली वीडियो में जो हमने डाली थी इलास्टिसिटी पार्ट 1 में, अच्छे से आपको समझ में आएगा कि ये वाई ए डेल्टा एल बाई एल एफ कैसे हुआ, फोर्स कैसे हुआ. सो दिस इज ऑल्सो दिस वॉज ऑल्सो टॉट इन दी first part of the elasticity. You can go and watch the first video, there you will get your all doubts clear. And now we are doing what? We are dividing and multiplying by A into L, that means area into length. That means we are multiplying by volume and divide by volume. So force by area will comes out to be stress, and change in configuration by length, that means delta L by L, that will comes out to be strain into volume of wire. So if we are supposed to find, or if we are to find potential energy stored per unit volume, if you have to find potential energy stored per unit volume, that means energy per unit volume is also known as energy density. And if you have to find energy density, what you will do? You will do this work done or internal energy by volume, and if you will divide by volume, this volume of the wire will be cancelled. So your in energy density will be internal energy divided by volume, and that comes out to be half into stress into strain. यानी कि volume वाला जो आपका term था, this will be cancelled out, and your unit for the energy density will be, unit of energy is joule, and the density, or you can say the unit of volume will be meter cube, or you can say the energy unit is also we can write as Newton meter, and if this Newton meter is divided by meter cube, so you can say that meter से एक मीटर कैंसिल हो जाएगा, so meter square will be left. So Newton per meter square will also be the you can say the unit for the energy density. You already know that stress upon strain is Young's modulus. So if I'll divide and multiply by stress, like I'll multiply by stress and I divide by stress, so stress upon strain, so I can write stress upon strain is gamma. Okay, so if in this figure I'll multiply and divide by stress. Okay, stress से divide कर दिया, stress से multiply कर दिया. So this stress upon strain, okay, stress upon strain will be, see, stress is in denominator. Okay, stress is in denominator, so the y will be downward. That means y will be in denominator. So हमारा जो Young's modulus आएगा, that will be in denominator. So we can write stress upon strain. This stress upon strain is changed to y. We are replacing it with y. So the stress into stress will be stress square. So internal energy density, or you can say the energy density or potential energy stored per unit volume, that can be also written as stress square by 2 into Young's modulus. So this page is very simple. All the derivations are very simple. The foremost or the very important thing is that you have to memorize all the derivative part, that how we are driving it. And if your basics are clear, then you can do all these derivations by yourself. We haven't applied any rocket science. It is very easy. देखिए, फिजिक्स बहुत ज्यादा इजी होती है. हर एक लेक्चर में जैसे मैं हमेशा बात करता हूँ, फिजिक्स बहुत ज्यादा आसान होती है, सिर्फ आपको बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग चाहिए. और अगर इलास्टिक पोटेंशियल एनर्जी, अगर आपको ये सेक्शन पूरा अच्छे से याद रखना है, इसको कंसेप्ट को मेमोराइज करना है, सो आई विल सजेस्ट यू नॉट टू मेमोराइज एनीथिंग. कुछ भी आपको मेमोराइज नहीं करना है. यू कैन ड्राइव ऑल दीज थिंग्स बाय योरसेल्फ. यू हैव टू जस्ट कीप इट इन माइंड दैट द पोटेंशियल एनर्जी स्टोर्ड इन एनी इलास्टिक बॉडी इज इक्विवेलेंट टू energy, or you can say the restoring energy stored in spring. So if you will remember this elastic potential energy as energy of the spring, then it will be very helpful for you, and it will become easy for you to memorize all those things without any cramming. Okay, and this is our concept, that you have to memorize, or you have to read, or you have to understand every concept without memorizing or without cramming. Chaliye, now we are moving on to the next part. One more very important concept which comes here is the Poisson's ratio. Poisson's ratio is what? Poisson's ratio is ratio of lateral strain divided by longitudinal strain. That means this is not the ratio of stress upon strain. Stress upon strain is modulus, okay, modulus of elasticity. That can be of three types: Young's modulus, or you can say the bulk modulus, or modulus of rigidity, that we have discussed in the previous video. But now here what we are doing is we are finding the ratio of two different types of strain, and the ratio is specifically is about lateral strain divided by longitudinal strain. That means Poisson ratio is ratio of lateral strain divided by longitudinal strain. Lateral strain is what? Lateral strain is your change in radius. This is your lateral strain. This is your lateral strain, and this change in length, this delta L is your longitudinal strain. Okay, so for example, if we have a wire of length L naught. So this is the original wire of length L naught. If you will stretch it, or if you will pull it down, then definitely if length is increasing, then its area, or you can say the cross sectional area will decrease if we have to keep the volume constant. आपको पता होगा कि कोई हम इसमें बाहर से कोई वायर ऐड नहीं कर रहे हैं, एक्स्ट्रा मटेरियल ऐड नहीं कर रहे हैं, so volume has to be constant. But definitely if the length is increasing, this cross sectional area will decrease. Okay, so the decrement in area, that is laterally. Okay, आपने बायोलॉजी में अगर आपने पढ़ा होगा lateral meristem, so lateral meristem means girth wise. Okay, so girth wise decrement is called as your lateral strain, and your increment along the length is called as longitudinal strain. So strain is what? Change in configuration upon initial configuration. Similarly, for lateral strain, change in radius divided by initial radius. So we can write it as this. So definitely if your radius is decreasing, that means your final radius is less than the initial radius, then definitely your lateral strain has to be negative, because your longitudinal strain is positive. Longitudinal, that means increment in length, but there's a decrement in radius, so it has to be negative. So your Poisson ratio will be change in radius divided by r, that means negative, divided by delta L by L. So for all materials, if we have to when the values were found practically, when we try to find the Poisson ratio values for all materials around us, then the ratio was varying, or you can say the value was varying from -1 to 0.5, but practically the most possible value, or the most suitable value for the Poisson ratio is 0.2 to 0.04. So definitely these values can be asked directly in your exams like IIT or JEE, NEET, and your NTSC or KVPY like exams. So definitely this is very important concept. Directly question can come on the Poisson's ratio, and definitely they may ask that if Poisson ratio is high, then you have to tell that which strain is more, longitudinal strain or lateral strain. So thereby you can have the idea, or directly they may ask that which value for the Poisson ratio is possible. So you can memorize this, you can keep this limit in your mind for your future reference. If the question come directly, then definitely they will ask you the which of the following value about the Poisson ratio is possible. Okay, now we are moving on to the next very important concept, and the next concept is thermal stress. Although we have discussed three types of stress, and they were like lateral stress, or volumetric stress, or longitudinal stress, and blah blah blah. There are so many types of stress, but mainly three types of stress we have discussed in our previous video. So now we have one more concept, that definitely this is very true concept like thermal stress. If we have a metal rod, you can consider that this marker, if I'll consider this marker as a metal rod, and if I'll fix it between two ends, if I'll put it between the two walls, like there are two walls, one this wall and the other wall is this one. Okay, other wall is this one. Take it as my finger, this wall and this wall. If I'll fix this rod between these two walls, and if I'll start heating it, definitely you know that on heating the materials, there is a term like thermal expansion. Definitely this material, or this rod material, will try to expand itself, and by the property of its expansion, it tries to put some force on the wall. So definitely there will be a stress developed, and that will be called as thermal stress. So we have to have a previous knowledge of linear expansion to understand this topic in a better way. So I hope that in thermodynamics or you might have studied it. If you don't know about thermal expansion, and if you are like not through with the thermal expansion or linear expansion, so for that purpose definitely you can go on the other video of our channel, and there you will find the video based on the thermal expansion. There we have discussed all the concepts. So according to linear expansion, delta L yani change in length, delta L, that means change in length, that will be equal to alpha delta theta into original length. So this delta theta is change in temperature, alpha is the coefficient of linear expansion, and this L is the original length, and this is delta L, means change in length. So delta L by L, that means this is a kind of a strain, change in configuration upon initial configuration, that will be equal to alpha delta theta, and definitely it is equal to strain. Okay, so this is thermal strain. Now the gamma or the Young's modulus, we are having stress upon strain, so we can write stress is equal to gamma into strain. That means thermal stress we can find by multiplying gamma into alpha delta theta. Alpha delta theta is thermal strain. So we are having values for both of the you can say both like stress and strain. For both of them we are having the formulas. Like for strain it is alpha delta theta, and for stress it will be Young's modulus multiplied by alpha delta theta, which is in turn in what? This is strain. So stress is force upon area, stress is force upon area. So if we'll replace this stress as force upon area, so we can also find out force. Force will be Y, that means Young's modulus into area into alpha delta theta. So this will be the tension, or you can say the thermal tension will be developed in this wire, or this will be the force by which this wire will try to push the wall in virtue, or it is like in its try to expand, but it is unable to expand as the walls are fixed. But this kind of force, or this much force, it will apply on the wall. So directly the expression can also be asked, or you might face a numerical in regard of this topic. So here you don't have to memorize anything, you don't have to memorize all these things, you don't have to cram, you have to just keep it in your mind. And that is also a concept of linear expansion, or you can say the thermal expansion. So if you are having this thing in your mind, then all these things you can drive by yourself. There is just mathematics going on, nothing else. Only the physics tells us that the change in configuration, or you can say the increment in length, that will be equivalent to alpha delta theta into length, initial length. Okay, so alpha here is coefficient of linear expansion, and delta theta is change in temperature. Okay. Chaliye. Now the next concept is relation between Y yani कि Young's modulus, our bulk modulus, our modulus of rigidity, and you can say our Poisson's ratio. So in these four terms they can ask you different types of relations. So actually these type of concept actually what we are doing is we are learning. We don't want to leave any topic, we are covering everything, so that everything will be covered. Whatever question comes you will be able to solve it. We are covering everything. Okay, even I do have the option कि मैं आपको easy concept बताता चला जाऊँ, tricks बताता चला जाऊँ, and you will feel happy कि wow यार what he is teaching in a very nice way. But the original thing is that I should not leave anything. I should tell you everything, whichever is possible and whichever is important. So basically in this relation, on this relation, definitely there can be a theoretical question. No numerical is possible on these kind of values, or they can ask that if value of gamma is this, or value of you can say the modulus of rigidity is this, then find the value of bulk modulus. So in these situations you have to memorize these three formulas. So definitely you can pause the video and take a screenshot and write down these relations. These are very important relation, and directly question can come based on the relation between these terms. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now here comes the very important graph, that is graph between stress and strain. First of all, you have to be very attentive while understanding it. I have tried my level best to elaborate each and every point on this graph. जी हाँ, बड़े मजे से explain भी किया है, और बड़े अच्छे से आपको पढ़ाऊंगा भी. आपके दिमाग में ये सारी चीजें फिट हो जाएगी. ध्यान से सुनिएगा. So first of all, this is the graph between stress and strain. ध्यान रखिए, हमने strain लिया है x axis पर, stress लिया है y axis पर. So this graph is between strain and stress. Okay. So the graph is like this. Initially there will be a straight line. That means stress and strain are directly proportional. And if the stress and strain are directly proportional, then they follows Hooke's law. Okay, do you remember? In last lecture, we discussed that Hooke's law states that up to a certain limit, stress was directly proportional to strain, or stress is directly proportional to strain. So, but this is till a very small limit. Till that limit, stress is directly proportional to strain, and we can say that till that limit Hooke's law is followed. And if Hooke's law is followed, we can say till point A, if this is a straight line, or you can say the Hooke's law is followed, that is called as elastic range. Okay, now after point A, a condition comes when the stress is not directly proportional to strain. After point A, that means after Hooke's law, after elastic range, after this point A, now the scenario is like, if we further stretch the wire, then stress is not directly proportional to strain, or strain is not directly proportional to stress. But definitely at that condition, if you will try to stretch a wire, and on removing deforming force, like if we were pulling a wire, and on pulling the wire we were applying some force, and if we will remove that force, like if we will leave that wire, then definitely wire will return back to its original position. So there is a limit. Okay, so from point A to point B there is a certain limit, and between this limit stress is not directly proportional to strain, but very important, ध्यान से सुनिएगा, stress is not directly proportional to strain, but wire can return to its initial length if load is removed, or if deforming force is removed. That means wire will follow, or you can say till point B, wire will be in a situation to regain. Wire अपनी position वापस से regain कर लेगा. Position regain कर सकता है, that means starting से लेके B तक, ओके, वायर अपनी पोजीशन रीगेन कर सकता है. बट हुक्स लॉ जो फॉलो होगा, दैट वाज फॉलोड टिल पॉइंट ए ओनली. ओके, सो दिस लिमिट ए टू बी इन दिस रेंज, हुक्स लॉ इज नॉट फॉलोड, बट वायर कैन रीगेन इट्स शेप when the deforming force is removed. But if we will move above B is called as yield point. This B is termed as yield point, or till B you can say this is the proportional limit. That means till here wire can regain its shape, and after B, this B is called as yield point. That means after B, when load is removed, after point B, when we are stretching a wire, initially it will follow Hooke's law. Then still we are like stretching the wire, then the condition comes where stress is not directly proportional to strain, but if we leave the wire, it can restore its position. But after point B, if we will further extend, or if we will further try to pull that wire, then that wire will not regain its shape. When the load is removed, body doesn't get back to its initial dimensions. So there is a range B to D, this is a range, and we are calling it as plastic range. That means if we are further extending the wire, or if we are further, like you can say, if we are further pulling the wire, twing, हम उसके खींचने की कोशिश करेंगे, so further wire will stretch, or wire will increase in its length. But definitely if we will remove that force after plucking beyond B, then wire will increase its length, but it will not return back to its original dimension. It will remain as it is wherever we will leave. So this limit is called as plastic range. So there is a range up to D point. So this point is this range is called as plastic range. But after point D, if till point D, now what we can do is, after point D, or you can say this plastic range is throughout E. Okay, and this describes its tensile strength. This is not till point D. Plastic range is not till point D, it is till point E. So this is whole the plastic range. But in plastic range there is a point D. Beyond this point, even if small force is applied, or the force applied is very less, wire will break at E. That means on plucking the wire, ऑन लाइक यू विल से इफ ऑन एक्सटेंडिंग द वायर, धीरे धीरे आप वायर को बड़ा कर रहे हैं, खींच के बड़ा करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, एक टाइम ऐसा आएगा जब बहुत थोड़ा सा फोर्स लगाने पर भी वायर आराम से लेंथ में इंक्रीज होगा और ई पॉइंट पर आकर इट विल ब्रेक। ई पॉइंट पर ये वायर जो है वो ब्रेक हो जाएगा, दैट्स व्हाई ई इज कॉल्ड एज फ्रैक्चर पॉइंट। दैट मीन्स हमारी प्लास्टिक रेंज जितनी बड़ी होगी, दैट मीन्स पॉइंट बी टू पॉइंट ई, ये रेंज प्लास्टिक रेंज जितनी बड़ी होगी वायर उतना ज्यादा टेंसाइल होगा, वायर उतना ज्यादा टेंसाइल होगा। दैट मीन्स ये प्लास्टिक रेंज क्या शो करती है? प्लास्टिक रेंज शोज tensile strength of the wire. So this is the graph between stress and strain. This is very important. Initially the wire was following Hooke law, that means till point A the wire was in a condition where stress was directly proportional to strain, so we were calling it as Hooke's law, or we were naming it as elastic range. Beyond point A, between point A and B, the wire is not following Hooke's law. That means stress is not directly proportional to strain, but if we will remove the force from the wire, it will regain its shape. Beyond point B, if we will further keep applying the force on the wire will increase its length, but if the force is removed, or if the deforming force is removed from the wire, then the wire will not return back to its initial position. Okay, and slowly a point will come whereafter even if we'll apply a small force, then definitely wire will increase in its length and it will break at point E, and that point E is called as fracture point. So, and this range between point E to E, B to E, that is called as plastic range. B to E, that is called as plastic range, and this plastic range shows that how tensile the material is, चलिए, this A point till point A there was elastic limit, B is the proportional limit, B to E is the plastic range. Okay, so this was a graph. Very important question can be asked, and we have discussed all types of questions also based on this graph. चलिए, मान लीजिए आपको दो टाइप के ग्राफ गिवन होंगे, स्ट्रेस एंड स्ट्रेन के दो टाइप के आपको ग्राफ गिवन है, ठीक है। चलिए, अब मान लीजिए यहां पर इसका कोई पॉइंट ए आया था, दोनों ही ग्राफ में पॉइंट ए गिवन है, दैट मींस पॉइंट ए तक दे विल फॉलो हुक्स लॉ। अभी हमने पढ़ा दैट टिल पॉइंट ए दे विल फॉलो हुक्स लॉ, एंड दैट इज टर्म्ड एज इलास्टिक रेंज, उसको हम इलास्टिक रेंज बोलते हैं। लेकिन ए टू बी दे विल नॉट फॉलो हुक्स लॉ, बट डेफिनेटली इफ यू विल रिमूव द फोर्स देन वायर कैन गेट बैक टू इट्स नॉर्मल कॉन्फिगरेशन, ठीक है। नाउ B to E जाने में that was termed as plastic range, और जितनी बड़ी प्लास्टिक रेंज होगी that means जितना ज्यादा B and E will be apart, that means that plastic range, or you can say that is the plastic range, इसका मतलब वायर उतना ज्यादा टेंसाइल होगा। But if if the BDE points they are lying, they are lying on the same point, that means there is no plastic range, then definitely we can say the wire is the wire is definitely elastic, but there is no plastic range. That means the wire is brittle, or the material is brittle. That means वो बिना ज्यादा extension के टूट जाएगा, वायर जल्दी ही टूट जाएगा, that means that material is brittle. ओके, बट इफ द प्लास्टिक रेंज इज मोर, यानी कि बहुत देर तक हम बहुत दूर तक उसको एक्सटेंड कर सकते हैं, बहुत देर बाद जाके वो टूटता है। ओके, सो देन द वायर इज डक्टाइल। ओके, so if B and E are very far apart, then the material is ductile, and if B and E are very close, then definitely the wire will be brittle. Okay, so these two graphs may be given, or these two graphs can be asked, that for material A this graph is given, for material B this graph is given, and you have to identify which material is more ductile or which material is more brittle, so you can answer accordingly. Okay, let's move on to the next part. Now you can be given with these graphs, or you may have these two graphs in a single you can say the single quadrant. Okay, so these two graphs are given B and A. Okay, for these graphs you can say that the D point, or you can say the B yield point. For this graph the range is more. For this A material the range is more, so you can say the A is more stronger than B, but B is more elastic than A. And how you can say the B is more elastic? B is more elastic because the proportional limit, B is more elastic because at lesser strain, you can say at lesser strain it has reached its breaking point. At lesser strain it has reached its breaking point. That means it was trying to resist more, it is more elastic. So this graph is depicting here, or this graph is saying here that if two graphs are given, you can see in this A graph, we are having this graph as more steeper, but the range is more, like Hooke's law will be obeyed for a more range. So we can say that A will be more stronger than B, but B will be more elastic than A. Okay, now if you are given a graph between stress and strain, so this area under the graph, you can say half into stress into strain, that will be equal to energy density, and slope of the graph will be equal to tan theta in turn equal to stress upon strain. Like if I'll make it as a triangle, this is a right angle triangle. If we'll write tan theta will be equal to slope of this line. So tan theta is perpendicular upon base. Perpendicular is your stress, upon base is your strain, and stress upon strain is your Young's modulus. So if on the basis of this graph, I'll try to explain this graph. So slope for graph B, because graph B is more, this line is more standing, so that means its slope is more. So I can say then on the basis of Young's modulus, this material B is having more Young's modulus, so I can say this B is more elastic. This B is more elastic than A. On the basis of slope I am saying this. But in graph A we can see that graph A is following the elastic limit for a longer period. That means we can say the A is more stronger than B. Okay, so A will be more stronger because it is following the Hooke's law for a longer period, or we can say that the A is more stronger than B. But on the basis of their slope, B is having more slope means the gamma will be more, that means Young's modulus will be more, that means B is more elastic than A. Okay, now I am going to explain this third graph, that is for elastomers. So elastomers are the material which do not obey Hooke's law. So for example, your rubber and your aorta, or you can say aorta, that means your main artery which is originating from the heart. So that is aorta. So your rubber and aorta, they are the examples of elastomers. Elastomers are the elastic materials which do not follow the Hooke's law. So stress upon strain, the graph will be like this. This is not a straight line, this is slightly curved line. So that means they are not following the Hooke's law, so they are called as elastomers. An example for elastomers are rubber and aorta. So our elasticity chapter is finished here. So thanks for watching the video. Thanks a lot. And please do, if you like the video, please do subscribe, like, and share our video.